All right then. So now what we have to do is let's create a new project folder. So let me open up bring my file manager over here, and I'm going to create a new project folder. So choose your workspace and create your own project folder. In this case, I'm going to create a new project folder over here and name that folder as YouTube, Spotify, clone, something like this. So I'm gonna open this in my Visual Studio Code. So let me open it up. All right, here we go. Let me keep this side by side, and let me bring my browser also over here so that I can keep it side by side view. And let me make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it clearly. So let's open up our terminal. So in this case, we're going to use the Next.js along with the TypeScript and along with the Tailwind CSS, right? So search for Next.js. So you can find their official documentation and click the get started option and click this installation option. So there you can find the command to install the Next.js. So click this and this will copy it and hit it. So hit enter, right? So in this case, we're gonna create the Tailwind CSS inside this folder, right? Inside the same subfolder. Otherwise, so what you can do is, all we can say clear it and /. So that will create the project under the same folder itself, right? So hit the enter. So now it's asking me, would you like to use the TypeScript? Of course, we're going to use the TypeScript in this project. So hit enter. And would you like to use ESLint? Yes. Tailwind CSS? Of course, yes. So would you like to modify the directory, source directory? By default, it will be app. If you wish to change it to source, you can change it. In this case, I'm going to keep it as no itself. And would you like to use the app router? Of course, we are going to use the app router, not pages. So hit yes. And would you like to customize the default import alias? So we're going to use the @ symbol. Okay, I'm not going to change the default, so I'm going to leave it as no itself. All right, so this will take some time to get download all the necessary packages and everything. So hold tight until it gets successfully installed in our project folder. All right then. So in this case, for me, all the necessary files have been successfully downloaded. So let me open up over here, and you can see we have the app folder. Inside the app folder, we have the layout.tsx. You can see this is the main file, and this is the place where everything is being rendered over here. And this is the page.tsx. This is the content which been loaded initially. All right. So let's fire it up. So I'm just going to say npm run dev. So that will fire up our local host in the 3000 port. So let me open it over here. So localhost 3000. All right. So it's loading now. And here we go. So it's fired up properly and it's working perfectly. Everything is so far so good. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to clean up this code completely. So I'm going to delete it everything. And then I'm just going to say sfc. So we're going to make this as a home. And hit the tab and then type division, and here this, let's say Spotify homepage or something. So if you're wondering what is that SFC, the term SFC means, so basically what we are going to do, what the SFC is, so that's the extension which comes along with the React snippets. So if you search for React snippets, yeah, here we go. So this is the ES7 Redux React snippets. This is the one. This is the snippets which you have to install. So please go ahead and install it. So that will help you to create an export functional component. So that will be rendered over here. So you might wonder how the page.tsx is being rendering successfully inside the layout.tsx, because layout will load it first and the page will be loaded inside the layout exactly over here as a children. Okay, this is what happening in the Next.js router over here. So for instance, let's say if I wish to change the fonts, all I have to do is to, instead of this enter, I'm going to use this Poppins, right? Then instead of enter fonts, I'm going to change this to Poppins. Over here also Poppins. Let's change this to Poppins. Okay, and then change the subset. Let's use the subset. Let's use this Latin itself. Okay, it's not assignable. And over here also I'm going to use this pop-ins. Why we are getting error over here? Argument of type subsets Latin is not okay. It's defined in this way. What's the mistake over here? Missing available weights. Oh, okay, so we are missing the available weights, so we have to load the font to weight. What are the available weights that we need to load it over here? That's what I'm wondering. What's the mistake? Okay, so to fix this issue, what we can do is, so let's keep this as Latin itself. So in this case, I'm just going to use the subset as a Latin itself, and then comma, and then you need to supply the weight property over here, and here array of weights. So you can define the array of weights, whatever the weights that you wish. So 100, 200. So I think this is supposed to be string, comma, 200. That is also supposed to be 200, comma, 3. So maximum I'm going to use this 400, 500, 600, 7, 8. These are the fonts that we are planning to use. So save these changes, and let's change this pop-ins fonts over here. Okay, now you can see there are slightly some changes in your font over here, and let's change the metadata of our title. So let's say Spotify clone 2.0 and generated by using created by Next.js, Supabase, right, something like this. All right, so now you can say we have the changes in the title name and everything. It's been successfully changed. All right, so we have to maintain this page.tsx in a proper way. So it's better to maintain the routing in a proper way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new route inside the app folder. So make sure if you want to maintain it as a root, you should wrap it inside a brackets, something like this. Okay, then I need to make this as a root folder or a site folder, because that will be the default route of this entire application. So hit the enter. So then I'm going to bring this page.tsx inside the route. I'm going to move it inside. So save these changes and refresh it. Still it works perfectly. It doesn't make any issues or anything at all. So we have the main layout and the main route, which is going to be our site route. So we don't have to worry about it. By default, the site route will be triggered, and this page.tsx will be rendered inside this layer.tsx. All right. So now what I have to do is I have to jump into the global.css, right? So you can see we're having all these things. So let's remove all these unnecessary stuff. I don't want any of this. So I'm going to clean all those stuff, deleting it. After that, what I have to do is, so I'm just going to say HTML, and for the body tag, body, and even for this root, everything, height, of course, it's going to be the 100%, and the color scheme, of course, it's going to be dark. Save these changes. All right. Then what I'm going to do is, okay, we don't need this, so don't save. Over here in the tailwind config.ts, so we don't need any of these unnecessary variables over here, the background image or anything. So let me delete it. Okay, so refresh the changes over here. So now you can see everything is being removed. Then what we have to do is I'm going to load a background image over here. I'm going to load a background image over here. So what you can do is, I already shared this image folder in your in the link in the description below. So please go ahead and copy it. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going inside the public folder. and I'm going to paste it inside the public folder, or I can simply drag and drop it inside over here. All right, so now I have the images, all the necessary images which is necessary for this project, which is already copied inside the public folder. All right, in this case I'm going to load the background. So background, I'm going to use the URL object. So double dot slash public slash image slash bg.jpg, and it should not repeat the same image. So I'm going to say no repeat, and the background position, of course, it's going to be in the center. It should load from the exact center. And the background size, of course, it's going to be covered. It should cover the entire screen. So save this changes. Now we can see the entire image which is being successfully loaded over here. All right, so now we successfully loaded the images and everything. Then what we have to do, we have to go and start design our main layout, and that's what we are going to do next.